friends! Welcome to Zwo&Company, your channel to learn how to paint miniatures. Okay, I'm Zwo, a professional painter of miniatures in Spain and in the whole world. in this occasion, we will learn how to clean the rust and how to use the rust. Okay, we hope you enjoy our video tutorials and learn a lot. Go with the first video.
Over the last years I've been painting. I could have tried different brushes brands oriented especially to beautiful arts, or in this case painting miniatures. The brushes that I really like and I consider most useful are Wilson and Neuron of 7 series, brush number 1, which is the standard one. It costs about €10, but really worth, although they are more expensive than other brands, such as Citadel or Skoda or indeed Vallejo, because they are very good. They last long enough and also maintain good tip. Significantly, there are two large groups of brushes which they have. Her Savol is a Russian Kolinsky pony, or so I believe, and those who are synthetic. Synthetic ones are not useful for us to paint miniatures. For that reason, we must look for brushes of Mara Kolinsky and other brands, also found interesting, and especially when you are beginning, is Skoda. This brand is cheaper, costs half the brushes of Windsor and Neuron, and they are going pretty well, although they are worse quality. What should we look when we want to buy a brush? In my opinion, we have to look closely the tip of the brush and the body brush. I mean, the hair's length. If we have more hair's length, I think we may keep the paint, and therefore they will be more useful to degrade. And if we have, for example, more tips, this is much more useful to paint details. Therefore, I recommend the brushes of the brand Windsor and Neuron 7 series. We must not be confused with the 7 series mini brush that have no body and are not as useful as Skoda brushes. All other brands are not recommended because the tip is very short or have little hair, or we can't trace well with them. I mean, in few words, they are worse. At the same time, I used to brush sizes. Brushes number 1, which is this one of here, which is the standard. I paint with that from the faces to the eyes, fabrics, and so on. And then in larger figures, for example, which have larger surfaces, logically, I use brushes number 2. It is said that number O brushes are also beautiful to paint fine details, but smaller brushes than the number O, I don't recommend them because they don't have body brush and they don't keep the paint on it. Therefore, larger brushes than number 3, I don't recommend it neither because they are basically paint brushes walls. I forgot to say, sorry, that although brushes lose their edge or slightly damage as this, or badly damage as this one, these are still useful. Don't waste them, please. I beg you. In the end, with this kind of pencil, we can paint textures or different sizes, and we can also achieve more variety on the miniatures. The parts of the brush are four, and it is interesting to differentiate for what we will comment and teach after. Firstly, we have the tip, that is the end of the brush, which is a very important part because it defines the precision when we paint the details. Another part is the body, that is from the tip to the middle part, which defines the amount of paint that can keep the brush. Additionally, we have the middle part, which is an evident indicator of brush's maintenance. For example, if the portion of the brush body close to the middle part has remains of paint, the brush will quickly damage or already damaged. And finally, we have the handle, which is the wooden part that gives length to the brush. Firstly, the brush is cut like a pen or pencil. For the last years in courses which I've given so far, I've seen people taking the brush like Gollum or something or really strange shapes. I also have seen people taking it from the middle of the handle or even, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep out a little more soon, since half of the handle or from near the end. This is not useful because we don't have much leverage and precision. I usually take the brush when I'm degrading by half of the middle part. This finger here is located in the middle of the middle part. In this way, I have freedom of movement, which is the most important thing when we are painting, and it allows me to make good degraded. And on the other hand, when I want to paint details, I should take the brush by the end because that far more accurate, but I lost freedom of movement. Therefore, the brush is cut like a pen or pencil. Now let's see how the brush discharges for not damaging it and to keep the tip in perfect conditions. We put our thing with a lot of different colors. I'll put some paint on the brush. Either is good for the example that we'll see after. I'll dilute a little to make it better the example, just a little bit. Always when we collect paint, let's do a zoom, yeah. We should do something like an spiral. Pay attention to the movement, please, of my fingers to pick up the paint, and then when we drip the brush, we must also make a spiral to keep the brush tip. If we flatly drip without making the spiral, the brush would open a lot. I hope you look on camera. I'll do it again. It's the most important thing to not to destroy the brush. We catch like a spiral to catch a lot of paint and drip equally. I repeat again, the spiral holds tip. Without the spiral, tip opens a lot. I'll catch a brush more used to illustrate you much better the situation. We collect paint again and then drip. Yeah, and roughly the tip is maintained. However, if we do up flatly, the tip doesn't exist in the future, won't exist in the future, and there would fully open. Moreover, we must never spot the metal part with water. I mean, we shouldn't catch the paint of this way. The metal part is being spotted like you are seeing on your screen, and this dry the ends and the brush hair, so the brush could last us 2 days. Otherwise, we'll discuss another thing later in the maintenance section. If we wanna that our brush lasts quite some time, with economic savings and time that entails, to achieve this goal, we must follow a series of indications. Mainly, the first is not to stain the metal part of the brush because it lasts 2 days, and another it is. We must never let the brush dip in water. The water is only used to clean the brush but not to save in it for every day. If we leave this brush, however good is for 1 day is enough to break it. Therefore, the brush is kept dry, and in case in a jar without water, we keep it in this jar, for example. As you can see, face up, and that is all. Then we discuss more interesting things. How we clean deeply the brush, for example. To do that, it is useful the following product, which I will show you, and you can see on your screen. I hope you see them well, clearly. It is really useful, for example, the restorer of brushes of Vallejo brand, the brush cleaner, and a sponge of Vallejo or similar, which they come with the miniatures. Firstly, we take the brush after a working session, and then we wet the brush in the cleaner. On the sponge, we press the brush well to clean all the remains, and then with the restorer we clean our brush on a napkin and making the spiral again that I mentioned before to maintain the tip, and then the brush will be clean, perfectly clean. With these small brushes tricks, they will last much longer.
Hi again! We hope you had enjoyed a lot our video, and please, if you enjoy and you learn, subscribe our channel and follow us. See you!